Calling for the pay-go rule.
Gentleman from California is recognized for 4 minutes.
I should ask consent to revise, Mr. Chairman.
Without objection, so ordered.
Mr. Chairman, I rise in very strong support of this legislation to help restore fiscal responsibility. And I salute President Obama and the Majority Leader Hoyer for their leadership on this important issue. Listening to this debate might leave the American people confused about Republican values. Republicans regularly declare their fidelity to controlling federal spending, and they claim also that they want to fix our broken health care system. And yet Republicans oppose our common sense pay-as-you-go legislation, and Republicans oppose our historic health care reform bill. My question to the Republicans is simple. When they controlled the House and the Senate and the White House, all of our government, for 8 long years, why didn't they control federal spending? Why didn't you reform the health care system? But what you did when you got power for the first time was you made your highest priority a tax cut to the richest people in this country without paying for it. The rest of us have been paying for it forever. And in 2001 you did it, in 2002 you did it, turning the budget surpluses into massive deficits. Why is it they added a record number of earmarks to the appropriations bill, running the deficit up even further? And why is it in that 8 years they never ever made health care reform a priority? Not ever in those 8 years. Meanwhile, Americans' health care bills keep rising, the insurance companies continue denials of care, and the number of the uninsured have continued to grow. 8 years of all Republican government, spending the taxpayers' money like a drunken sailor, and as Ronald Reagan said, with full apologies to the sailor. Raising deficits to historic levels and inaction of health care of any kind of reform. But they made rhetoric a priority, and they made politics as usual a priority. Now that they're out of power, they speak about controlling deficits and reforming health care, but they openly state that they hope our president fails. Their hope for our nation is that our president fails. I've been a supporter from pay-as-you-go budgeting since 1982, when I introduced the first pay-as-you-go bill. When liberals and conservatives worked together with President Clinton to adopt the pay-go rules, the Democrats reined in, erased the historic deficits that were left over from President Reagan and President Bush from the 80s and the 90s. And we recorded record surpluses. We ran surpluses a number of years in a row. President Bush and the Republican-controlled Congress, when they gained the power, they erased it. They repealed the law. And now what we see is the interest on that debt is crowding out the national priorities. In 2007, Democrats made pay-go part of our rules again, and legislation today strengthens that by making it part of the law, so the Senate and the House will have to abide by it. Our bill says Congress should neither cut taxes or increase entitlement spending without first deciding how you can afford and pay for these new costs. Pay-go requires difficult decisions about national priorities and about how to afford them. If we can't pay for new tax cuts or entitlement spending, we can't have them. It's simple, it's common sense, and it helps reduce the deficit. Pay-go strengthens the economy by helping to reduce interest payments on our debt, and by helping to address the health care reform and modernize energy policy and college affordability. Our health care bill, for example, will not increase the deficit one dime. It's paid for. Our new college affordability cost is not only paid for, it returns $10 billion in deficit reduction to the American people. The Democrats are working hard to ensure that going forward, we can exercise fiscal discipline that hardworking Americans need and expect from this Congress. I urge my colleagues to vote yes on pay-go.
The gentleman yields back the balance of his time. The gentleman from Wisconsin.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself 30 seconds just to simply comment